Good evening, Titans. This is Mr. Simpson. And tonight we're going to be discussing special products of polynomials. So go ahead and get out your student journals or your notebooks and be ready to copy down. All right, the first core concept is when we square a binomial. Now there is a pattern to this, and we'll teach the pattern, but we typically don't make you use the pattern to multiply binomials. The most important thing is that if you have a binomial and that's raised to a second power, you have to know the only way to multiply that is to write that binomial down twice and then use the methods we learned in 7.2, which means you could FOIL it, you could use the box method, or you could just distribute. But as you see in this core concept up here, there's a pattern that can be used as well. And it's the first term squared of that binomial. It's the product of the two terms times 2 for the middle term, and then it's the last term squared. And it doesn't matter whether it's a plus sign or a minus sign in the middle. The pattern is the same. Just notice that if it's a minus sign in the middle, then it's a minus sign in the middle term there. So if we take a look at this, if we do it the way I would probably teach you is either write it as 3x plus 4 times 3x plus 4, and then just use the FOIL method. First times first is 9x squared. Outside times outside is plus 12x. Inside times inside is plus 12x. And then last times last is plus 16. And now we have 9x squared plus, notice why that middle term is multiplied by 2, because we have two identical terms, which with this case would add up to 24x plus 16. And then there's your final answer. All right? And go ahead and erase this one. And if we look at this next one, I could set it up using the box method if I wanted to. And so I'd have 5x minus 2y and 5x minus 2y. Then 5x times 5x is 25x to the second. 5x times negative 2y would be a negative 10xy. Negative 2y times 5x again would be a negative 10xy. And then negative 2y times negative 2y would be a positive 4y to the second. Now again, we just write it down, 25x squared. Again, our main diagonal, or like term, so it's negative 20xy. And then the last term plus 4y squared. And so even though there is a pattern that we can develop, and you might use that pattern once you've done enough of these using either the FOIL method or the box method, but right now we're just good with you using either the FOIL or box method to find your product. Now the other type is when we're multiplying two binomials that look very similar, but one is a sum and the other is a difference. And if you notice when that happens, your answer is just what we call a difference of two perfect squares. And so we'll look at a couple of examples using this. Now again, we could use a pattern, but if I just set it up, t plus 5 times t minus 5, and use the FOIL method. First times first is t squared. Outside times outside is minus 5t. Inside times inside is plus 5t. And then last times last would be minus 25. Now, when we go to write our final answer, notice that these two middle terms cancel each other out. So it's t squared minus 25 is your final answer. All right? So again, there is a pattern to this, and this one might be a little easier to recognize. But if you don't recognize that pattern, you can always just multiply it out. So we'll go ahead and multiply out letter B using the box method. And so I'm going to set it up. using the box. So across the top I have 3x and y. Down the side 3x and minus y. So this is 9x squared. I have 3xy. Here I'd have negative 3xy. And here I'd have negative y squared. Because again, negative times a positive is a negative y squared. Those cancel out. So my final answer is 9x squared minus y squared. Which again, if you notice, is a difference. Difference means subtraction of two perfect squared terms. Alright, so here's just a quick example of how we could possibly use special products to help us find the answer to 26 times 34. Now, you don't have to do problems like this, but just some math tricks that I'd like to show you. So we could write 26 as 30 minus 4, and we could write 34 as 30 plus 4. And now it's the product of a sum and a difference. So if we look at the pattern, it was the first term squared, which is 900. Remember, your middle terms were supposed to cancel out, which they do, minus 16. So then 900 minus 16 is 884. So there's the answer of 26 times 34 using the special product pattern. All right? So there are a few examples that application examples that we could go through, but we're going to skip those for this evening. So again, this is products of special binomial products.